Welcome back, boxing fans, to another great show with Sean on boxing. So, Dante's Boxing Nation video just popped up, and it's talking about an interview that Lamont Roach had, talking about how Tank Davis is really hated, right? Because they question Tank Davis cherry picking a 130-pound fighter again, right? As opposed to fighting somebody that's ranked literally at 135 in the same organization where he holds a title, which is 135 pounds, WBA, right? So he fights this guy, Lamont Roach, who, you know, he's a champion, but literally, what has he done at 130 pounds to separate himself from the other fighters in the weight class? Has he done more than Navarrete? No. Has he done more than Valdez? No. Has he done more than O'Shaquie Foster? No. There's other fighters he could be facing in his division to prove himself. We don't blame him because we understand he's going up to 135 because he'll make more money fighting Tank Davis probably than he would fighting those guys. I find it hard to believe, though, because those fights would be real competitive 50-50 unification fights, but okay. But as far as Tank Davis goes, Dante Boxing Nation uses this quote to talk about how black fighters that are dominant in the sport of boxing consistently get hate. The problem I have with dudes like Dante and the rest of these guys is the hypocrisy. If you watch their channels, you see them constantly hate on non-black fighters. Right? So they're criticizing people for hating on black fighters, yet their content is consistently hating on non-black fighters, whether they're hating on Lomachenko, whether they're hating on Canelo Alvarez, whether they're hating on Anui. It don't matter. The hate continues. A non-black fighter who's being successful is consistently called, media created, what else? Hype job, great white hype. The same old narratives consistently get pushed when a non-black fighter is being very successful in the sport of boxing, right? This hype because he talks about how, Haney and Shakur and Tank Davis talk about how they're the most hated fighters in boxing. And of course, he makes that into a race thing. Yet, if you literally on YouTube watching sort of the back and forth between certain groups of people that are supporters of certain fighters, you notice that the majority of this hate these fighters get comes from other black boxing fans. Tank Davis fans consistently hate on Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. Consistently. You can go look at any video from any of these channels that are pro Tank Davis and look at the hateful comments that are in those comment sections directed specifically towards, Shakur or Devin Haney, and vice versa. If you go to Devin Haney videos, LDBC videos that are, of course, pushing Devin Haney, you will see these guys consistently doing the same thing about Tank Davis. This is the same thing we noticed with the whole Errol Spence Bud Crawford situation. People want to make this out to be racially motivated, racism. But unfortunately, that doesn't fucking hold water when consistently the people that are consistently hating on these black fighters are black American boxing fans, black American YouTube channels that literally are going back and forth with each other using this drama to make money off of YouTube. You got Fannin and Knockout Boxing and Ego all fucking dick riding Tank Davis like crazy. Literally making videos every day dick riding Tank Davis. Then you get the LDBC and other channels consistently dick riding fucking Devin Haney. And these guys literally go back and forth at each other day in and day out, only talking about these fighters and this whole weight division and area so that they can literally milk boxing fans of their hard-earned cash to have this, Korean drama fucking situation going back and forth and ignore the majority of boxing in the world. We just had one of the biggest cards in boxing history. The majority of these channels didn't even make videos talking about it because they know that shit isn't what sells on their channel. They know that the black Americans who follow them and are consistently on their channels don't really care about boxing like that. They're more interested in this back and forth fucking debate and drama situation, right? So he goes out and pushes this, but ironically, you notice when these people do this, they fucking shoot themselves in the foot because, bar none, the most hated fighter in boxing today is Canelo Alvarez. He gets hated on by everyone. Mexicans, non-Mexicans, black Americans. He gets hated on like hard, even by the media. When guys like Paulie Malignaggi and other guys on Pro Box and fucking, other things like, of course, what's his face? Who's the old guy? They used to work with Tyson. What's his name? I can't remember, but you know what I mean. These guys always are all hating on fucking Canelo Alvarez. Yet these guys basically man-defended Tank Davis and the rest for a long period of time. Imagine Paulie Malignaggi when he was going at Devin Haney, how he was called a racist. But yet when he's going on against Canelo Alvarez, people fucking use that as a way to continuously push that negative Canelo Alvarez stuff. Right? I mean, Canelo Alvarez literally can do no right. If he's talking about going to cruiserweight to fight for the WBA title or WBC title against Makabu, they call it a cherry pick. Then he goes up, he fights Bivol at 175, they call it a cherry pick. He ends up getting beat. And then, he fights some other fighters, they're all cherry picks. And then they say he should go to cruiserweight and fight fucking this guy. But yet, when he was talking about going to cruiserweight before, you guys said it was a cherry pick. LDBC channels were talking about him going up and facing Deontay Wilder at heavyweight. See, this is the irrational mentality from these kind of boxing fans. These are the same guys that, want Inoue to go all the way up to 135 to fight Tank Davis, but then having Tank Davis go to 140 is disrespectful and hateful. Even though he's already fought at that weight. Inoue's never fought at 135, never fought at 130, never fought at 126. But you want him to go up 3 more weight divisions. Why? Just so this non-black American fighter can get beat, so these guys can come out and talk about how he's a hype job. He was never that good, even though he's in his 8th weight division. 8th. Him going into his 8th division and getting beat proves he's garbage. Tank Davis being in his 3rd weight division, never fighting one champion at 135, never unifying titles at 135, literally pulling fighters up consistently from 130. Somehow that's hate. Everything I said is just a fact. There's no hate involved. We know it's not hate because we know if other fighters did the same thing, they'd be heavily criticized and scrutinized for doing that. So the question is, why isn't Tank Davis being scrutinized for doing it? He is by some people, but then his man fans, the same ones that supported fucking Errol Spence, now talking about, Errol Spence should never have fought Bud Crawford, he wasn't healthy. These are the same guys that said he's totally healthy after beating Ugis and fucking Danny Garcia. Backpedaling, consistently making excuses, all so that they don't give Bud Crawford any credit, right? Like the reality of this situation is, any situation that Errol Spence found himself in, he put himself in that. So fucking don't make excuses for it. When you get drunk, crash your car, the only person responsible for that is fucking you. Just you, right? When people talked about how he probably wasn't healthy and may never be healthy again after that, people literally went at them then and said, bullshit, he's ready, he's fucking healthy, he's good to go. Then he gets beat, and then of course now it's an excuse. Yeah, we told you that was a possibility, and you poo-pooed it, downplayed it, and only after he got exposed, then you want to jump on that fucking bandwagon and use that as the excuse. That dude hasn't fought in how long now? And they're talking about him coming back in 2025. Yeah, they're going to come back with him and the 2 Charlo brothers on a fucking card, right? All 3 of them washed out, right? First of all, nobody really cares about seeing them fight again because at this point, what are they going to do? Any of them. But I mean, come on, let's be real. This is the same old bullshit consistently that happens. Whenever a black American fighter somehow is getting scrutinized at all, it always becomes this racial shit, especially from Dante's Boxing Nation, right? One of the worst fucking offenders of the situation in the history of boxing. Yet these same people can go at every single other non-black fighter, scrutinize, criticize, shit all over him, throw out accusations about PED use, fucking glove tampering, fucking everything under the sun, right? Not back it up, not support it with evidence, but consistently lie to their fan bases and literally have these people ignore it 100%. Because unfortunately, this is what boxing is in America. And yeah, this primarily is fucking America. This is what American is bringing to boxing. So now that boxing is being pushed out of America, going to Saudi Arabia and the UK and elsewhere, it's not a bad thing for non-Americans like myself. We're like, fuck, good. We can get away from this drama. Please. Let's please leave it behind and just fucking move forward with this shit. You notice the whole Eubank Ben shit, huge drama. UK loves this drama as well, but they always do it for specifically one reason: to sell and market a fight, right? It's not a fucking back and forth situation that goes on for 5, 7, 8 fucking years to not give us a fight. It goes on basically to hype up and build up a fight that's already been organized. Like when David Haye, or was it David Haye? He glassed me, right? You know, the UK loves that drama. But we understand why they do that. It's marketing. What these American fighters are doing and these American YouTube channels, it's just back and forth drama. Dante Boxing Nation living in Thailand, he's fucking got bills to pay, so he just wants to sit back there. He's not even involved in American boxing anymore. He's as far away from it as I am, living in Asia. But yet he's going to consistently push this racial bullshit day in and day out. Yet this is a guy who lives in Asia and he has nothing positive to say about Asian boxers, doesn't make any videos about Thai fighters, but he lives in Thailand, right? Like, man, people, please. Let's just use some common fucking sense and see what the bigger picture is. See what these hacks and these race baiters are really all about, and the reason why they're pushing and peddling this bullshit. Because it has nothing to do with the sport of boxing or, you know, putting boxing into a positive light. It's all to fill their pockets with cashola.